Cek satu. Bersih kan bang? Gak ada noise kan di Zoom? Hmm? Tes, tes, tes.
Haji Ahmad Dahlan was the founder of the Muhammadiyah Islamic Organization, whose spirit has been enlightening, educating, and advancing people until recently. Buya Hamka is a figure of the nation's intellectual cleric, who inspires us to prepare young generations to excel in domains of spiritual, intellectual,
Cek, satu,
emotional,
cek.
and social capability. University of Muhammadiyah Profesor Dr. Hamka, or widely known as UHAMKA, is located in the center of the metropolitan city of Jakarta and is accessible to various means of the city transformation. Such an easy access has increased the university effectivity in providing quality education for the young generation. UHAMKA promotes the Islamic values and Muhammadiyah in its teaching and learning processes, and in many life aspects, preparing its graduates to excel intellectually and spiritually.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dengan lisensi akreditasi A yang kami miliki, lulusan UHAMKA bisa dengan mudah memasuki dunia kerja yang serba kompetitif maupun sukses dalam berwirausaha, karena UHAMKA membekali pribadi setiap lulusan berkarakter, cerdas, kreatif, dan inovatif di era industri 4.0 yang serba digital.
Cek, satu, dua, cek. Oke, satu, cek. Cek, satu, dua.
Tes. Deket aja. Oh gitu ya. Tes. Aduh, nempel nggak apa-apa. Tes. Tes. Tar. Bismillah ya. Tes.
Yang nanya ngomong aja nanti kita unmute, nggak usah ini. Kasih tahu aja kalau yang mau bertanya nanti kita lempar langsung. Chat. Oh ya udah bawa HP di WA. Jangan sinyal. Mendingan di copy aja. Kalau ada pertanyaan kirim WA ke dia. Biar internetnya kayak ini.
UHAMKA has 10 faculties with modern teaching and learning facilities and infrastructure, one of which is Faculty of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences. These faculties are supported by professional teaching staff as well as modern classroom.
Alasan saya memilih di UHAMKA adalah karena alat-alat yang lengkap dan tenaga-tenaga pengajar di sini adalah dosen-dosen yang profesional.
Laboratory facilities and infrastructure to prepare qualified graduates in health research. One of the leading sectors in the faculty is the research on the halal test of food ingredients. Such a research sector has been referred by many large companies in determining the halal category of a food product. The Faculty of Medicines is equipped with comprehensive laboratory facilities and always updates the teaching and learning materials with the current development of theories and application. The Faculty of Economics and Business prepares its graduates with sufficient competences in the field of Islamic economy and business. One among the courses presents the Islamic philanthropy. The teaching and learning facilities are supported with library and other teaching and learning resources that focus on the study of economy, accounting, management, and Islamic banking. The Faculty of Engineering runs a teaching and learning system that develops students' intelligence and skills in mastering their preferable field of study, allowing them to contribute directly to technology advancement and to prepare them to participate in the world of work.
Kami dari program studi teknik elektron dan alhamdulillah inilah hasil karya kita, robot pemadam api.
Faculty of Teacher Training and Pedagogy. The Faculty of Teacher Training and Pedagogy provides an intensive education to potential teaching staff and educators. It promotes each graduate to have sufficient skills and attitude, Islamic piety, general and specific competences at national and international level, maintaining UHAMKA's reputation as a reliable and trusted institution of teacher education.
Alasan saya kuliah di sini karena akreditasi A. Telah di sana segala gitu daftar di UHAMKA.
In preparing professional teachers, the teaching and learning process are supported by sufficient infrastructure and the current teaching method. This is to prepare future teachers who can contribute directly to the welfare of the community and to prepare the future of the nation's bright young generation. Faculty of Islamic Studies. The Faculty of Islamic Studies here is to prepare Islamic education teachers and to manage Islamic affiliated organizations. The Faculty of Psychology develops psychological sciences that is integrated with Islamic values to prepare for professional graduates that excel in various psychological professions. The Faculty of Health Sciences prepares qualified health workers through the development of health sciences to improve the welfare and health of the community. The Faculty of Social and Political Sciences, with the primary study program, namely Communication Science, prepares its graduate to excel in various fields of communication science. With the support of professional teachers, teaching and learning facilities, the faculty presents the real professional world to the students.
Saya mengambil jurusan ini karena fasilitas di Fisip UHAMKA sangatlah menunjang kebutuhan mahasiswa. Masuk UHAMKA, kalian nggak akan nyesal.
UHAMKA Graduate School. UHAMKA Graduate School addresses the challenges of students and practitioners who are willing to pursue higher levels of education, as well as to improve their profession and work competence.
Saya memilih UHAMKA karena untuk menunjang pendidikan dan karir saya ke depan, dan karena terakreditasi A sehingga membuat saya yakin untuk memilih kampus ini.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pusat Neuroscience UHAMKA adalah lembaga yang mengkhususkan diri untuk mengkaji bagaimana ilmu tentang otak dan perilaku manusia diaplikasikan di berbagai bidang, seperti leadership, marketing, edukasi, dan sebagainya. Pusat Neuroscience UHAMKA adalah satu dari sangat sedikit lembaga yang mengkaji bidang itu di Indonesia. Jika ada di antara rekan-rekan semuanya yang ingin mendalami tentang otak manusia, silakan bergabung ke UHAMKA.
UHAMKA, a university that facilitates young people to excel in intellectual and spiritual intelligence. It prepares its graduates for global competition and the need of professionals in the Industrial Era 4.0.
Assala- Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Participants, please have a seat. Good morning and a very warm greeting for each and every one of you. Welcome to MOU signing and visiting professors from the Martinis Telemedicine Panel or Dematepa, Italy, held by Universitas Muhammadiyah Profesor Dr. Hamka. I'm Fatia Malia and I will be the master of ceremony for the event today. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin our agenda, I'd like to extend our deepest gratitude for the attendance of our special guest today. The Honorable First Vice Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah Profesor Dr. Hamka, Anisia Kumala MLC, MC, Psikolog. The Honorable Dean of Faculty of Medicine, Dr. Wawang S. Sukarya. The Honorable Head of Office of Partnerships and International Affairs, Purnama Syaipur Rahman, PhD. The esteemed first speaker from the Martinis Telemedicine Panel or Dematepa, Italy, Professor Nando Campanella, PhD. I'd like to also recognize our second invited speakers from Fiji Islands that will be joined with us remotely, Professor Vito Grammatico Di Tullio. And to all the respectable participants that are with us here and virtually today, welcome our warmest greeting. On this special day, we're going to conduct a signing MOU between Universitas Muhammadiyah Profesor Dr. Hamka and Dematepa, and followed by 2 lecture sessions from 2 esteemed speakers discussing about teleconsultations, global food security, and children growth disorders. Now, without any further ado, let's begin the event with our first agenda, which is singing our national anthem, Indonesia Raya, and Mars of Muhammadiyah Sang Surya. Please, all rise.
Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bisa tolong dikerasin? Tolong dikerasin, nggak keras nih. Pak. First of all, let's express our gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala that today we are still have the health to attend this very important meeting, a lecture from Professor Nando Campanella. Honorable Ibu Anis, the second vice rector. First ya. First vice rector. Also the invited speaker, Professor Nando, all the lecturer and student of Faculty of Medicine of UHAMKA, colleagues from university, and ladies and gentlemen, today we are lucky to have the honor of visiting professor from Italy, Dr. Nando Campanella. He is a professor in medical pathology of Nursing Professional School of Ancona, Italy, which will share its knowledge with all of us in this important meeting. Professor Nando will deliver his presentation entitled Investigation and Differential Diagnosis in Children Growth Disorder. I don't know the student know about it, but you can hear about the knowledge and about the science from Professor Nando. Hopefully, the science will given a discussion and will improve knowledge to be practiced later. Besides being able to increase an individual platform to gain understanding. Of course, focus on essential aspect and confident and to implement it in practical skills in the future, as well as the frequent changes needed to develop of medical sciences. On behalf of Faculty of Medicine UHAMKA, I would like to thank to Professor Nando Campanella, who will give us a very interesting topic of lecture. Professor Nando, I would like to inform you that the participant not only from this room, but also some student and lecturer from medical faculty in Indonesia, followed by Zoom. Last but not least, thank you for all the participants and colleagues who have prepared this important event. Please enjoy this lecture. Thank you. Grazie mille.
Participants, please join us to watch the handing of necklace of appreciation from the Dean of Faculty of Medicine to Professor Dr. Nando Campanella. Thank you very much, Dr. Wawang S. Sukarya, for your incredible remarks. Now, participants, please join me to welcome our Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah, Profesor Dr. Hamka, Profesor Dr. Gunawan Suryoputro M. Hum, to give his welcoming remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Rector. Okay, as we wait for the presence of our rector, now let's move to our first vice rector, Anisya Kumala MLC MC Psycholog. Please have your welcoming remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable Dean of Faculty of Medicine UHAMKA, Profesor Dr. Wawang Sukarya, and our special guest today, Mr. Nando Campanella. Yeah. And our Vice Dean, first and fourth, yeah, I think. And then the participant of guest lecture today. First, I would say thank you to Mr. Nando Campanella for visiting us in UHAMKA today, and our distinguished guests from Fiji Islands, I think coming via Zoom. I met Mr. Nando several days ago via Zoom to initiate and to arrange this meeting and agenda. So our agenda today is guest lecture, and then we have to signing MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, between UHAMKA and Dematepa. Dematepa is Mr. Nando institution from Italy. Please, you have to introduce Dematepa to our participant today. No, not now. Later on. Yeah, Mr. Nando, in UHAMKA we have 10 faculties and 1 graduate school. Maybe we have four faculties that related to your field in health sciences. We have Faculty of Medicine, of course, and we have Faculty of Pharmacy. We have Faculty of Health Sciences, and we have Faculty of Psychology. So this is maybe the faculties that related to your field in health. So to participant, please enjoy our guest lectures today, and I think the topic is very interesting about growth disorder, yeah, about children growth disorder. This is very interesting topic, I think. So enjoy the lecture, and maybe we can enlarge our knowledge, our science about the health. I think this is all from me, and after this we are signing MOU between UHAMKA and Dematepa with Mr. Nando Campanella. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, First Vice Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah, Profesor Dr. Hamka, Anisia Kumala MMLC, MC Psycholog, for giving excellent remarks and as well as to represent our rector today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the second agenda of our event today, a significant moment that involves the signing memorandum of understanding and memorandum of agreement, along with the exchange of special souvenirs from each party. May I kindly request the presence of our esteemed first Vice Rector, Anisia Kumala MLC MC Psycholog, and the board member of Dematepa, Professor Nando Campanella PhD, to kindly step forward and join us on MOU signing. Please. Now to our esteemed Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, Dr. Wawang S. Sukarya, please step forward and join us on MOA signing with Dematepa. Please give big round of applause for their invaluable contributions. All right, participants, now please join with us the photo taking session. Now please join us to watch the token of appreciations giving for our speaker today. Please give big round of applause again for our speakers and special guests. Thank you. Thank you for your invaluable contribution for the MOU and MOA signing today. So participants, now it's our turn. Let's join with us with the photo taking session together with our esteemed speakers and also guests, to our Vice Rector, our Dean, our Head of Office of Partnership and International Affairs, and also our speaker. Please step forward to take a picture with the participants.
Bisa nggak? Teman-teman berdiri. Nah,
Participants, please all rise. Thank you, everyone. Please have a seat. All right, now I'd like to invite all of the attendees to join me on the first lecture agenda of our today's event, which is seeing how the board member of Dematepa, Professor Nando Campanella, PhD, to introduce a more in-depth information about semiotics and physical examination in synchronous teleconsultation, as well as investigations and differential diagnosis in children growth disorders. After this session, we will be opening discussion or questions and answer sessions, and we are open for verbal questions to the presenters, and you may also ask them through chat box for participants that are with us in Zoom. So, ladies and gentlemen, now please join me to welcome our first presenter, Professor Nando Campanella, PhD, to come and give us their lecture. Okay, Prof, you may come forward.
Can I have the first slide?
Is the presentation ready?
I check up.
All right, as we wait for our first lecture today, here we have Professor Nando Campanella, PhD. He is one of the Dematepa board members. So Dematepa is an organization based on health center, and it's from Italy. So for more information, let's just hear from our professor today. So, Prof. Campanella, time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. I am used to stand, excuse me. I am very, I move frequently. Next slide, please. Next. Now, let's simulate how we work. There is any one of you that can help me and read the slide? Is in base? Next slide, please. Next. Perfect. There is anyone who is so kind to read this slide? Who is, I can trust to? A volunteer, please. Volunteer. Madam, please. Come on. Very important. Please, have your seat.
Okay.
Please. Yes, you can sit. I merely ask you. This is an example how we give lectures, because many of you are English speaking, but in Indonesia, not everybody is English speaking, so we need a translation. Okay, So, how do we do? This is a slide that has been translated by me. So I don't think much level of Bahasa Indonesia. I have not got the time to amend, but usually the slides are amended, are not like this. Will you read? No matter if there are some mistakes, it's of no importance. Have your seat, please.
Okay.
So the other, will you read these slides? Not very fast, clearly. Okay, please.
Oke, thank you, Prof. Untuk waktu yang lama, e-health telah menjadi subjek pasca sarjana bagi para profesional perawatan kesehatan yang bekerja dengan teknologi tinggi, ahli radiologi, ahli jantung, administrator penyimpanan informasi dan data, ahli bioteknologi, ahli genetika, dan lain-lain. Hingga saat ini, di dunia yang terus berkembang menuju era digital, mahasiswa semua fakultas ilmu kesehatan belum mendapat kesempatan untuk mendapatkan pengajaran prinsip-prinsip kesehatan digital yang menggabungkan pengetahuan ilmiah setiap domain dengan esensi ilmu komputer. Akibatnya, setelah lulus, profesional kesehatan baru tidak memiliki interoperabilitas dalam interaksi profesional sehari-hari. Untuk memastikan interoperabilitas yang tepat, keterampilan komputer minimal harus diberikan ke semua program gelar modern dan lanjutan.
More or less, have you understood? Okay, next slide, please. And next. Please, will you read?
Strategi mengajar Dematepa. Yang pertama, menargetkan mahasiswa dari semua fakultas ilmu kesehatan dengan mata kuliah yang disesuaikan dengan masing-masing fakultas. Yang kedua, siap. Yang kedua, menyelenggarakan presentasi modular dalam bahasa daerah, misalnya bahasa Indonesia, untuk mengurangi waktu pelatihan. Yang ketiga, fleksibilitas dalam isi pengajaran dan inovasi berkelanjutan adalah sumber daya untuk menantang keragaman yang dihadapi, seperti semester, fakultas, konteks budaya, dan lain-lain. Yang keempat, mengintegrasikan pengajaran interaktif tatap muka dengan pembelajaran jarak jauh dan pelatihan langsung. Yang kelima, juga melatih lulusan muda sebagai profesor universitas yang bersedia menjadi instruktur kesehatan digital sehingga universitas dapat mandiri di masa depan dan tindakan mereka berkelanjutan. Yang keenam, Dematepa mempromosikan kesepakatan antar universitas yang terletak di daerah terpencil dengan tujuan melatih tenaga kesehatan untuk merawat masyarakat pedesaan terpencil dan paling membutuhkan. Dematepa melihat keragaman sebagai kekayaan yang harus dipertahankan dari perataan budaya yang tunduk pada konsumerisme perkotaan. Yang ketujuh, mendukung universitas dalam mengekspor sumber daya manusianya sebagai pelaksana proyek kesehatan bekerjasama dengan Kementerian Fasilitas Kesehatan seperti puskesmas, rumah sakit, departemen kesehatan masyarakat, dan lain-lain.
Is it clear? So my Bahasa Indonesia is improved, isn't it? Okay, next slide, please. Here are the places in which we are used to work. So far, in the latest 10 years, we have been focusing on Indonesia. In the stars means that our programs are in progress, okay? There are, where there are the pin, the projects are ongoing. So Indonesia, Italy, Portugal, Brazil, and something in Portugal. Next slide, please. Okay. So I can move by myself, I think. Okay. No. Where is the arrow? No. Yeah. Okay. Very well. So the idea is this: all the faculties of health sciences. I have mentioned here some: public health, environment health, biology, medicine, nursing, midwife, pharmacy. Sorry, I have forgotten psychology, but psychology is included. And the teaching is based, first of all, in 6, 7, 8 hours of core issues of digital health for all the faculties of science. So all these faculties get this kind of teaching as an essential. But of course, each one of the faculty receives some specific teaching. For example, medicine, the most important issue is the theory and practice in teleconsultation, what we are speaking today, just as an example. In pharmacy, the electronic drug prescription is very important for them. But of course, the electronic drug prescription is not that important for biology, obviously. So this is the way in which we have structured our teaching. Let's say that we divide the issue into two main groups. The telecare, we leave it out, and the telehealth. The left part is regarding education, how we provide any kind of teleeducation that are virtual seminaries, course at distance, social communication, whatever. And on the other side, the telemedicine. The telemedicine, I focus your attention on medical teleconsultation. There are two kinds of medical teleconsultation. One is asynchronous. What do we mean with asynchronous? An email or something that is similar to an email, in which the two guys from one side or the other are not there in real time. And the synchronous teleconsultation, this is the common teleconference in which the two are in real time all together. Of course, today I have to explain you this because in a few minutes we are speaking about teleconsultation or a part of the teleconsultation, just as an example. Okay. Very well. So a course, a full course with all these issues. And we have published this book that is in Bahasa Indonesia, but it was written originally in Portuguese, then was translated into Bahasa Indonesia. You can find it in all that many e-commerce. You can find it, if you wish, in all of that links. This book is sufficiently big because all the issues of the digital health has been properly explained, right? And this was translated by the courtesy of the Embassy of Portugal here in Jakarta. They provided the translator, and we had the version in Bahasa Indonesia that actually is the most important for us because most of the activity of teaching is in Indonesia. And also, we have also produced this, Isu Hukum Kesehatan Elektronik, me and Professor Roswitha Aboe of the University of Ternate, because we have also had an interesting course between the students of legal issue law and medicine. Anyway, also this is available if you wish. Now I hope that with my slides and with this you have understood more or less who we are. We are not a university like you are. We are a virtual university. We don't have campus. We don't have students. We are 30, more or less, 30 people. Most of them are from the university or from the medical practice or from the international cooperation. And one of this is Vito Grammatico di Tullio that later will join us and we will speak about food production. Let's go straight. May I go straight away to the presentation? This presentation, I don't want to spend much time. Why? Because the second presentation is, for me, more important than this. Now I try to give you a mere idea of what a teleconsultation is. But of course, we have 30 minutes or even less, so I can explain you the teleconsultation in 30 minutes. We need hours to do that inside a proper course. So, consultasi clinis charaxia. I cannot spend much time even this. This is the figure explaining how a asynchronous teleconsultation works. Well, let's say that there is, oh my goodness. Okay. There is one doctorumum, doctorumum, who asks for teleconsultation. He provides an application asynchronously, so through a platform, not in real time, through a platform. And after I have the coordinator, teleconsultant, the platform, etc., she receives an answer. So, what should I do with this patient like this and this? After all this movement, there is an answer written, a report, a laporan, right? Now, one thing is important. When you send the patient, the doctor room, send the patient to the specialist, the responsibility is taken by the specialist, right? They write the request, the specialist receives. Here is not like that. Here the responsibility stay with the doctor room, in the sense that that guy advises, full stop. The doctor room wants to follow, follows. He does not follow, he does not follow because he does not like or whatever he wants, okay? But he is alone in this activity. Okay. Now, to do that, we have a platform. Don't read it because this is a practical case that we have not time to explain. But let's say that this is our platform. Obviously, most of it is written in Italian, in which the application is brought. And finally, oh no, sorry. And finally, after that, the teleconsultant has received the application, there will be a report back. Seems to be so easy, but it's not that easy because misunderstandings are a lot. If we don't teach properly to the doctorumum, and therefore to you, and to the teleconsultant, even worse, because many of them are professors, and one oneself feel professor, thinks that giving a teleconsultation is the same that giving a teleconsultation. It's not the same. The application is different. The answer is different, okay? So we have no time to go through that, but think that seems easy, but it is not that easy. This is a synchronous teleconsultation, and we did a lot. During COVID, we made a lot of this teleconsultation. How it works? Here we spend one moment. Excuse me, can you understand me, or I speak too fast, or I speak in this strange English that is out of an Italian? It's clear?
No, sir, it's clear.
It's clear. Oh, but I don't trust on you. I trust on the guys. I trust on them because actually they are the target. So it's not important what I say. It's important what I achieve to make them understand. That's one rule of the communication. Okay. Anyway, so is there no one complaining so far? Very well. What's a good English? Huh? I'm not in that habit. Anyway, let's go. Now, the mosquito. Very well. So I towards the synchronous teleconsultation. I explained. There is a doctor who is does not want to go to the house of the patient with COVID or whatsoever. So he stay like here. He put the application in our platform and ask, there is a patient with this telephone number, with that is sick, please take care of him. Number two, the coordinator get in touch with the patient and ask him, at what time do you want me to contact you in teleconference? And they say, at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Okay, all the family there, please. At 3 o'clock, all the family there. Which is the platform that you prefer? Because obvious, if he doesn't, he's not able to use Zoom, but he's able to use Skype or whatsoever, we must use the platform that he preferred, not that we prefer, for the comfortability of the patient. You say, let's assume, you say Skype, right? So at 3 o'clock, we call him through Skype. We put all the family, because it is an infectious disease, so it's better that everyone is informed. And then we do a normal consultation. Riwayat, clinics, per exam visuale, etc., etc., etc. And then we make some recommendation, but maybe we need to prescribe some medicine. Of course, we have to refer to the doctor room because he and only he can prescribe for free the drugs. So we have to stay in strict contact. He prescribes electronically. So finally, the pharmacist comes with the drugs, leave the drugs out of the door of the patient, out of the door. The patient open the door, take the drugs, and nobody is in contact with the social distancing, fully respected. Okay? Okay, anyway, in this way, we have the opportunity to treat many respiratory failures, let's say. Well, I tell you a number. We made around 500 patients. 500 patients in 2 persons, 500 patients. 1 day. Only one. And unfortunately, she was a woman, 14 years old, that was not vaccinated because her family was no vax. So, yes, and he was in chair wheel. So, he was a very fragile person, not vaccinated, and we lost her. Anyway. So, this is how it works. Now, the point that I want to stress to you is here. How to make a real physical examination. Because the teleconsultation is not a telephone call. The telephone call can exist since 1871, when the telephone was invented. So if the telephone, there is a doctor and there is a patient, you have a telephone call, not a teleconsultation, right? And it's not enough to have WhatsApp, to Skype, etc., etc., if you are not able to catch all the information that you need to achieve the full responsibility of the patient. It means that this is the same, with the same responsibility that you are sitting here, you have the visit him, and finally you write the diagnosis, right? When you write the diagnosis, you take the responsibility of the doctor. If something gets wrong, the judge may come, fortunately not, may come and say, guy, come on, tell me what have you done with this patient. If something gets wrong, you have to respond to the law about this. The teleconsultation is the same responsibility. Nothing has changed. So don't think that you say nonsense in a telephone or through a platform and everything is okay. Don't think about that because that is makes make a big mistake. The book that I've shown, Isu Hukum Kesehatan Elektronik, regards is related to this issue. So, madam, what is the madam? Why you have escaped? Why you have escaped? Come on, you have a lot of work. But come on. I think it was. Life is not that easy. Life is not that easy.
I'm sorry, Prof.
You have to study 4,000 pages of medical pathology
Yeah.
before being a doctor.
Okay.
So it's a big stress, believe me. Please have
Okay.
your seat. Now, this is more difficult. I don't know if I will translate properly, but this part is quite new because it's entering in the second edition of the book, and so it's not yet in the first edition. Madam, will you read Pelan Pelan, please?
Siap. Thank you, Prof. Iya. Pemeriksaan fisik atau semiotika memakan waktu dan menantang. Bantuan seorang caregiver, siapapun dia, baik itu kerabat, perawat, bahkan dokter umum, semuanya berdiri di samping pasien adalah wajib. Dalam pemeriksaan fisik orang ke orang, 4 indera dokter terlibat. Yang pertama, penglihatan, inspeksi dan bahkan menonton palpasi pengasuh untuk mengetahui reaksi pasien. Yang kedua, sentuhan atau palpasi. Yang ketiga, pendengaran, perkusi, dan auskultasi. Yang keempat, baunya.
When you know what is semiotics, no? What is the physical examination? I think that you are second and fourth semester, no? So fourth semester, someone is there?
Second.
Only second.
Yeah.
It is too early. But anyway, don't worry. There is a part of medicine that is important. That is semiotics. What is semiotics? Is to catch all the information through the physical examination. And what you have with you? You have eyes, you have ears, you have smell, and you auscultation, percussion, etc. So you have to use all your senses. Next and next. Okay, now let's start with the smelling. Smelling is important. Madam, will you read Pelan Pelan?
Oke, thank you, Prof. Dalam telekonsultasi sinkron, sensasi penciuman hanya dapat dilaporkan oleh pengasuh. Sentuhan juga tidak langsung diterapkan dari jarak jauh, dan jelas sensasi sentuhan tidak dapat dirasakan secara langsung. Namun demikian, dengan dukungan yang tepat dari pengasuh yang melakukan palpasi pada leher, dada, perut, otot, dan persendian, telekonsultan memiliki kesempatan untuk memandu manuver dan mengamati reaksi nyeri pasien. Reaksi-reaksi ini sangat penting dalam patologi perut. Palpasi yang dipandu telekonsultan pengasuh di atas perut pasien dapat mendeteksi titik-titik yang menyakitkan dan mengungkapkan tanda-tanda semiologis utama, seperti tanda Bloomberg yang menunjukkan peritonitis atau nyeri yang lebih kuat karena pelepasan tekanan yang tiba-tiba daripada penerapan tekanan progresif lambat pada perut, dan tanda Murphy atau penyakit kandung empedu, dan banyak lagi. Perkusi yang diterapkan pada dada pasien dan perut oleh pengasuh memberikan hasil yang lebih cepat berlalu karena dua alasan. Yang pertama, suara yang kembali berfrekuensi sangat rendah, sehingga perbedaannya tidak dapat dengan mudah dirasakan melalui mikrofon alat pendengar komputer. Yang kedua, keterampilan perkusi yang buruk dari pengasuh.
Okay, now I have to check my English because I don't remember what it means. So it's not that easy. I can explain properly. Anyway, only one moment. Okay, I will do that quickly. So, first of all, smell. What is it in smell? There are two diseases, at least two diseases that you understand as soon as you get into the room of the patient. These two diseases are, you are too young still to only second semester, it's difficult for them to understand. Anyway, the one of the disease is the melena. The melena is a situation in which the patient loses blood from inside, from the gut, from the perut down. The blood is digested and it comes out completely transformed. So you cannot understand that it is blood because it's blood's digested by, and it comes out like black stools. Huh? But I assure you that if you don't see, but you get into the room of the patient, you smell and you know in this room there is someone who has melena, is this kind of hemorrhage. Another one is the diabetes type 1, insulin dependent, in which when the insulin is not enough, ketonic bodies are formed. The ketonic body has a very characteristic smell, and you can understand from the breathing of the patient the diagnosis straight away. Obviously, you cannot do that in teleconsultation, but the importance is if you have a good caregiver, because you cannot do that by your own, you have a good caregiver that maybe is even the doctor, the doctor of whom, or it is a nurse, or it is the brother, or it is the son, and if you instruct him properly, you can take the maximum of the information. This is the smell. I have shown you here an example of the abdominal palpation. No, the abdomen is the difficult diagnosis comes from your hand. You put the hand, you press, you release, and you understand where is the pain, how is the pain, and if it is more when you press or when you release. So with your hands, when you will be mature, doctor, you will realize that the abdominal pain is something dangerous because peritonitis could be there. And you have to understand immediately if it is peritonitis or not. If it is peritonitis, don't lose your time. Surgery, immediately, if it is peritonitis. If not, take your time. Watch, wait, observe, etc. So only this simple maneuver or pushing slowly and release suddenly enables you to make the diagnosis of peritonitis. If you see that you can push and then you release and the patient say, oh, as soon as you release it, that is almost, this is a patient that must go to the surgeon immediately. Okay. Then there are other maneuvers that you can do. We cannot spend too much time in all the physical maneuvers that you can do, but there are many actually. The percussion is something that it's not very reliable in teleconsultation. However, I can tell you that we succeed in made a differential diagnosis through percussion. The patient was sick, doctor. The wife was healthy, but doctor. So in teleconsultation, I said to her, please, I had to make the differential diagnosis between hearts, acute, no hearts, the pneumonitis because of COVID, in which normally you have not focus, but it's widespread in the lungs, and a bacterial pneumonitis, in which you have a focus of percussion of percussion wrong. Then I tell to the woman, please put the microphone close and start beating the thorax. And I realized that there was no change between one lung and the other. I say, this is a COVID pneumonitis, no problem. It's not a bronchopneumonitis. But this does not happen very frequently. This is a very favorable situation in which the wife was a doctor herself. Sometimes in teleconsultation, you may have the doctor removed on the other side. Well, now let's go ahead with one. This. Ascoltasi. It's not clear there. Can you read? Ah, okay. Please. Will you read? It happens.
Yeah.
Very often. Please.
Okay. Auskultasi dada, paru-paru atau jantung, perut, dan vaskular dilakukan melalui stetoskop. Dari jarak jauh, itu hanya dapat dipandu oleh telekonsultan, direkam oleh pengasuh dengan stetoskop digital, dan setelah itu ditransfusikan. Terakhir, penglihatan dianggap sebagai pemeriksaan fisik yang paling efektif dalam praktik telekonsultasi. Telekonsultan harus menyempurnakan kemampuannya dalam pemeriksaan fisik visual semaksimal mungkin melalui kerjasama dengan dengan pengasuh yang paling sesuai dan terlatih. Lesi.
Nothing special, but it can record both electrocardiogram and the sounds like this, and you have sounds and electrocardiogram all together. Okay, then you record, then you transmit through Bluetooth, to 5, through whatever, and at what you are recording. It's not that difficult. You can ask to the son or the daughter, put on the thorax of your father. Where? Like this. No, a little bit on the right, a little bit on the left. Stay still a moment and push that button. And you say 30 seconds. He catches then move it here, and you do the same. So at distance with this, that of course must be provided somehow, but there are many devices, and today we have not the time to do that because this is a 2 hours course. Excuse me. It takes 2 hours to explain all the devices that are available of this kind that nowadays are so many, and you can take benefit of this transmission. So making a physical examination means to have a mix between physical examination in teleconsultation and patient telemonitoring. That is another part that, of course, is of our competence. Sometimes the patient is a chronic patient, you know which are the problems, then you provide them with some kind of device, or they by themselves the device. Well, but there are others. Will you go ahead with your reading?
Oke. Lesi epidermis dan kulit biasanya tidak diinspeksi dalam telekonsultasi sinkron karena dapat ditampilkan dengan pengambilan gambar yang tepat. Pemeriksaan fisik dalam telekonsultasi sinkron adalah wajib saat menyelidiki penyakit neuro otot termasuk gangguan kognitif. Juga latar belakang pendidikan dokter umum seringkali tidak sesuai standar untuk melakukan pemeriksaan fisik neuromuskuler kepada pasien. Namun, setiap kali dia diinstruksikan secara menyeluruh sebelumnya dan ditindaklanjuti langkah demi langkah secara real time saat tampil, hasilnya dapat diandalkan. Jawaban pasien atas pertanyaan telekonsultan mungkin sudah menggambarkan kapasitas kognitif pasien. Inspeksi tindakan sederhana dan umum seperti berbicara, berjalan, mengambil, dan menyerahkan benda adalah langkah pertama dari pemeriksaan fisik tersebut. Kamera atau kamera web harus ditempatkan sekitar 3 meter dari pasien dan komputer atau perangkat seluler dalam mode hands-free agar pengasuh dipandu oleh saran vokal telekonsultan. Pasien diinvestasikan dengan baik dengan cahaya bahkan sinar matahari dari jendela jika memungkinkan.
Is it clear what is written here? Quicker this, yes. So that was not clear. Well, okay, I understand. Maybe you are still too young to understand, but keep in mind this, that the examination, the physical examination of the neurological patient, I won't say the psychiatric patient, is far more difficult than the others because the responsibility is very high. And we have to use the tools of the video camera, recording video camera, and some maneuvers that are a little bit complicated. In any way, we go ahead because we cannot go into depth of all of that. Will you read this one?
Oke. Gangguan berbicara cepat tanpa bernapas dapat diatur waktunya. Pasien duduk di depan kamera, dia menghirup udara sedalam mungkin dan kemudian dia diminta untuk menghitung angka dalam urutan menaik dengan suara keras secepat mungkin sampai dia merasakan kebutuhan mendesak untuk menarik napas lagi. Inspirasi udara dilihat oleh telekonsultan. Orang sehat menghitung sampai 40, pasien gagal napas berhenti menghitung sebelum 25.
Have you ever seen a COVID patient? One of you. Have you seen a COVID patient, COVID-19 patient? You? Okay. Which was the device that you kept at home for that? Which was the device that many patients bought into the pharmacy or whatever? Which is, you know? Who knows? What is the oximeter? You know what is the oximeter? No? To measure the saturation of the oxygen. No? You put in the finger and they say 95%, 98%. And everyone has bought this and was selling. I have checked my saturation at this one 96. Excuse me, when you have started the fever? 2 days ago. Oh. It's of no need of the oximeter because before that you have the lowering of the oximetry, it was at least 1 week, at least. So in the second day, it's nothing. But you don't need an oximeter. Huh? When a person has a respiratory failure or he cannot breathe and speak in the same time. So it's very easy. You put in front of the telecamera, you say, now I count in a 10, okay? Not in the You say, take inhale, full lungs, and then start counting quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then when he has no more breath, he stops. Normally, a person in respiratory failure does not go over 20. A normal person, 40, 45, etc. So this is a very simple maneuver in which you don't need the oximeter to say that the person is in respiratory failure. If you want really to know how is the situation. Anyway, this is just an example to tell you, because it was important to minimize in the head of the patient with COVID-19, the oximeter was not that. Otherwise, they stand all the time doing that. And if we see that it is below 95, yeah, oh my God, call the hospital. No, 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 no. Please, no panic. This is not for panicking. A person does not die in respiratory failure in 10 minutes. In the myocardial infarction, they may die in 10 minutes, but not in this disease. It takes 24, 36, 48 hours. And it is an important task that we have. Keep the patient calm. Keep the family calm, quiet, and gain trust on him. Okay, anyway, this is roughly a rush in the physical examination of the patient. Let me show you now very quickly show you. We show what?
Peralatan medis yang digunakan oleh dokter di tempat perawatan.
What is tempat perawatan? Tempat perawatan maybe is here. If someone of you is sick, of course, we give attention. Or it is the rumah sakit, or it is the rumah pasien, or it is the road. When you walk, there is someone who had an accident, you provide, this is a tempat perawatan whatsoever. And what is this? Oh, this is something interesting. It's an electrocardiogram, right? Just put this and this and this and that, and take time, but this is better than the electrocardiogram. You put because there is another electric here. You have you can have your electrocardiogram instantly in a very short time. Okay, this is a spirometer. This is a spirometer which costs $100, 100 and not much more. You can use it with the mobile and with a consumable. This one is the place in which it is going to breathe, and you will have what will have, and you will have the curve, the graphic of his breathing. We do not lose much time because you are only the second semester, so it's too early. But in any way, that can be done not only in the hospital, even at home. Oh, this is a common tensiometer, but it uses Doppler to measure. And oh, what is this? Oh, go ahead. Oh, this is an ultrasound scan. There is ultrasound that you can do with the pad, computer, telephone. This is the linear probe, convex probe, And you can even have the sector probe. This is the cost is a little bit higher because it's $700. Okay. This is a dermatoscope. The dermatoscope is like that, in which you may prompt a diagnosis of melanoma and other cancer of the skin. This is a retinoscope. The retinoscope is important not for optic diseases, but to see the small vessels in the body. The retina is the only place in which you can watch the small blood, small vessels, diabetes, hypertension, whatever, nephrosclerosis. You have this suspect and you can go and see that. Oh, this is a laboratory. This is the way, maybe you have already seen, the way to have a urine analysis. Have you ever seen this? You have seen, right? So you put in the urines and this changes according that there is blood, the specific weight, etc., etc. Seems to be a technology, stupid technology. This is a sophisticated technology because in this small paper, I don't lose time with it, but with the biologist, I have to spend a lot of time to show how this paper is done. That are 6 or 7 layers, one after the others, and this is cost $70. $70, there are 100 tests. So you have one test for $1. But this is our latest, this is our latest precious instrument. With this instrument, we have a laboratory at the house of the patient. You don't send anymore the patient to the laboratory because for basic analysis, we use the ISTAT Abbott. Can we try to read something that is maybe?
Dalam waktu maksimal 10 menit sesuai dengan cartridge yang dimasukkan.
Yeah, please go ahead. Oh my God.
Dapat memperkirakan sampel darah arteri, vena, atau kapiler, elektrolit gas, bikarbonat, laktasidemia, keratinemia, urea, troponin, faktor natriuretik, atrium, kalsium, glikemia, dan lain-lain.
Okay. So this is this is not very cheap. This is $5,500. And but I use this one. With this one, I put inside that the stethoscope, the electrocardiogram, the ultrasound, and I already know which is the problem of the patient. I go with that to the tempat per hour time, and I try to solve the problem in almost in real time. These are the miracles, and of course the technology is coming and coming over and over. So we have anytime we have new technologies available, and this is why I was telling you in one of the first slides, we try to keep you updated about all these wonderful things that are happening, and 25 years ago, they were not possible to be done. Well, this is all my first lecture. That is less important than the second one, is just to give you an idea, a very short idea, what can be done with the digital health to the doctors. This is a lecture for doctors. What can be done and how it should be done to treat the patients from dari jauh. Okay. So for the time being, I stay here and I finish waiting for the next. If you have doubts or questions, please.
All right, thank you so much, Professor Nando Campanella. So we are open for questions and answer session. If you have any inquiries, you can ask to us. You can ask in Indonesian if you perhaps. Okay.
Hello, Prof. My name is Hilda Raudatur Rohma. Allow me please to ask you about how can semiotic can be applied in the context of synchronous teleconsultation for physical examination.
Mau tahu cara penggunaannya atau? Oh, yes, he wants to know about how to use those devices that you have published, you have mentioned.
Okay, I made a distinct a separation. One is the teleconsultation. Okay, you are at distance in synchronous teleconsultation. Of course, you have not provided the caregiver with these instruments. Okay, but theoretically you can. Theoretically you can. So I have put together, because of lack of time, and I have not got the time to separate them properly, but usually in our lesson, one issue is the medical teleconsultation asynchronous, one issue is the medical teleconsultation synchronous, and one issue is the tempat perawatan, because in the tempat perawatan you are there and you do that by your own. There is no one supporting you. It's you, your small devices that are almost an hospital. If you are smart, almost an hospital. And you do. So, but there is a case in which you can do mix them. That is the chronic patient, the patient that you know is diabetes, hypertension, cardiomyopathy. You know everything about it. So you suggest him that since his disease is chronic, he needs periodical teleconsultation. You do not go to his house. He has not to move and go to the hospital and back and forth in Jakarta. With the machete in Jakarta, you move. it's a big problem. You know how is the patient already. You advise him to provide some simple. It's easy to have a glucometer with the diabetes, for the diabetes. We have another small instrument that allows you to have cholesterol total, cholesterol LDL, cholesterol HDL in a machine that in 3 minutes give you the numbers. So they can do by their own. There is no need to send to the laboratory, take the blood, wait 3 days, having there is no need. They buy, they know, they do. And of course, you in teleconsultation, you are informed this morning, I have glycemia like this and this and this, cholesterol like this and this and this. And maybe you are suspicious. Let me see how you do that, because I don't trust you. And you can check how they do that. Maybe sometimes the technique is not very. So, Madam Ibu, these are 3 different chapters. Asynchronous teleconsultation, synchronous teleconsultation, tempat perawatan. That should be treated separately. But I have taken all of them, I have shaken and I have given you. But in normal conditions, it's not like that. You need to separate in order that you understand that. The today lesson is not a real lecture. It's just for you to have an idea what the subject can be. unfolded.
All right, is it clear enough for you? Okay. So anyone would like to ask a question, please? Okay. Okay.
People is there.
Hello, Prof. My name is Salzabila Shahrazad. I want to ask you something about what the advantages and limitation of using semiotic in physical examination during synchronous teleconsultation. I want to ask you about what are the advantages and limitation of using semiotic in physical examination during synchronous teleconsultation.
Like the advantages of using those devices
Advantages and limitation
of
using semiotic in physical examination.
like what are the benefits that the patients will gain if we conduct the teleconsultation, like the semiotics in teleconsultation?
The benefit is that in our policy, we have to close all the hospital in the area. Why? Because we cannot expect that whole people move anytime from his house to the hospital with the family, with all the costs of this movement, unless he has not to do something that cannot be done home. Surgery. Surgery must be done home. When you provide high technology, um, magnetic resonance imaging, you have to move. You cannot bring the magnetic resonance here inside, right? Because there are safety measures. So we want to move the patient to the hospital the least in Jakarta because of this machete. But what about the people that lives in remote areas? What about the people that lives in Almaera? What about the people that lives in Papua? What about the people that lives in Sulawesi Barat? They are isolated, but the communication are of such a level in Indonesia today that they have improved in a few years a lot, no? And so, if you don't move the patient, where do you want to be sick? You want to be sick in your home, with your toilet, with your bed, with the comfortability of your family. So we would like to bring health to the patient and not the patient go to the health care. This is the benefit. And in a short perspective, that will be a reality. Believe me, in a few years, it will be like that. My mother died at last year at 98 years old, okay? She went to the hospital twice in his life. One, 30 years ago, because he had some strange fever, and they went to, and the second in 2016, because she broke an arm. So she fell down. She stayed in the hospital 2 hours just to put the immobilization and came home. She has been walking the afternoon before she died, the afternoon. I brought her to the toilet by walking, of course, moving. But she walked until the day after it. That was the life that I was wishing for my dear mommy. I don't know what you wish for your parents. You want them to bring in the hospital, throw them into the bed, and wait for them. Where is my son? Where is my children? Where am I? Oh my God. They do the assignment. They don't know even where to do it. When they lose the environment, oh, they are lost. People have died without knowing why they don't without seeing the places of the sun. We wish for ourselves.
Hello. Can you hear me? Can I start? Can you hear me? I don't hear you. Okay.
Okay, Vito. It's okay, Vito. You can upload, yeah.
I can understand your when you talk, but I start with the presentation.
Okay.
All right, Professor. All right.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Vito Grammatico Di Tullio. I'm agricultural economist, and I'd like to talk you today about food security and healthy nutrition at global level. Sometimes when we talk about hunger, we forget that this is not related only to food. There is no life without water, as all we know. And so we have also a problem of water security because 2 billion people live in water-stressed countries and 4 billion people live in areas with severe water shortage for some period of the year. It is possible that starting by 2030, the world could suffer 40% of water shortage due to global warming and increased consumption. At the moment, we know that agriculture consumes 69% of water resource for irrigation, livestock, and aquaculture. Industries use 90% of water, and civil use of population are 12% of total water resource. Coming back to global food security and nutrition, we registered that undernutrition increased from 8% to 91% in 2021. Probably this changement of values is in part due to the COVID-19 pandemics. Around 770 million people, is 10% of world population, faced hunger in the year 2021. In this diagram, you can see that, for example, from 2020 and 2021, 150 million more suffered hunger. The prevalence of undernutrition was in Africa and Asia. What's the regional difference? Globally, people hungry are 8.9%, but in Africa, this percentage come to 20.2% in 2021, 9.1% in Asia, 8.6% in Latin America and Caribbean, 8% in Oceania, and in North America and Europe the data is less than 2.2%. But we have to remember that the world is currently facing a new crisis, the war in Ukraine, that will have implication on global agricultural markets and prices, worsening food security in many countries. In this map, you can see the situation of hunger in the world. In Africa and in some other region, you see some country colored in gray. For these countries, we don't have official data, but the situation on nutrition is dramatic in some of this country. This table shows the food production and availability in the year 2020. The production are divided for crops like cereals, sugar, vegetables, oil crops, fruit, roots, and tuber odors. We have a total of 9,314 millions of tons, when the population of the world was 7,840 millions. Virtually, so we can see that we can have 1,188 kilograms of food per capita per year. We will come back on this information. This diagram shows you how the crops growth in the period 2000-2020 approximately. In this period, the primary crops, what we mean with primary crops, sugarcane, maize, wheat, and rice, grew around 50%. And the global primary crop production is 50% of all food production. The trade. The larger exporters are for cereals are Americas and Europe, and the larger importer is Asia. This new diagram shows you the production and consumption of vegetable oils that between 1990 and 2020 increased 400%. The same for the meat production. We can see in this diagram that starting from 2000 to 2020, the production growth around 45%. And the most important production of meat was chicken, pork, and cattle. In this same period, starting from year 2000 and year 2020, the world population increased around 27.5%. So coming back to the last tables, we saw that the increase of production is around 50%. So is more the increase of production of food than the increase of people. But some believe that we do not produce enough food. We have seen that we have virtually 1,188 kilograms of food per capita per year. This corresponds to 3.25 kilograms of food per capita per day. So it's more than enough for virtually. But why so is there so much hunger in the world? The most 10 important reasons of world hunger are poverty, food shortage and distribution, war, conflict and natural disasters, climate change effect, poor nutrition, poor public policy, poor economy, food waste, gender inequality, and forced migration. What can we do to improve this situation? United Nations member states in the year 2015 adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. This agenda contains 17 sustainable development goals, and we are interested for the discussion of today. And sustainable development goal number 2. This goal propose end of hunger, achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. Which are the strategy to get this goal? The proposed strategy are starting for public support to agriculture, to increase food availability, making an healthy diet more affordable. Tax subsidies to improve affordability of healthy diet, especially if they also help consumers. Control the price of food and agricultural production in the markets. convert existing tax subsidies, contributing to poverty reduction, to improve farm incomes, agricultural production, and economic recovery. And what proposed strategy about infrastructure? It proposed to develop infrastructure like transportation and distribution, preservation system of foods. We talk about the drying, processing, cold chains, etc. Facilitating access to production, to assets for farmers. Agricultural credit to increase production and access to land to increase number of farmers. What can be technical support? Technical support and research can introduce and spray the use of genetic resource to ensure improved seeds and crops resilient to climate change, environmental adversity, and pest disease. Agricultural production techniques can be redirected toward lower irrigation water consumption, especially in intensive agricultural systems. Intensive livestock production can be reconverted in more extensive production by reclaiming abandoned lands. Animal feed can be selected to protect the environment and reduce use of water, energy, labor, etc. In front to the problem of climate change, we can introduce innovation called the climate smart agriculture. Are innovations such as artificial intelligence and genome editing. Use the bioengineering cross can make them more productive and resilient. Intelligent water resource management, like wastewater recycling, reprocessing of sewage water into drinking water. Green infrastructure like storage, transport, and water infrastructure, which take in consideration the water deficit. This is very very synthetic, the situation of food production, but it's very important to recognize that there is not a shortage of production of food, but there is inequality between regions and between continents, where we have a population where food doesn't arrive. Sometimes doesn't arrive also for problem of transportation or prices or poverty, but we have to work to re-equilibrate the planet in this direction, because the nutrition is a human right, recognized internationally. So our duty is give food to people. Somebody says the man can be rich or poor, but not hungry. Thank you very much for your invitation. Thank you very much for assisting to this presentation. If you have any question, you can write to my email address and I will answer you. Thank you.
All right. All right. Attach this. All right. Thank you so much, Professor Vito, for your lecture time. And now we're moving on to the next agenda, which is the second lecture from Professor Nando Campanella, PhD. And time is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much, Vito. Excuse me, there was one issue. The slides. Okay, Vito, thank you very much. I got report from Ternate